I'd just like to speak a little bit about my process, my timeline, um, how I got here in late 2014. Um, just wanted to speak a little bit about my journey, posterity, what have you. Um, I had a rather perfect childhood. There wasn't ever really too much to worry about. Um, By the time I hit 18 years of age, I think the biggest things I ever had to be concerned about was performance in a basketball game or a football game. So it all went pretty well for me. But I would say that I have always had a great interest in history, and the awareness of the Holocaust definitely rocked my world. The treatment of Native Americans and African Americans by my countrymen at earlier times has definitely shaped me quite a bit. But that being said, I'm going to skip straight forward to the first Gulf War, where we saw Saddam's army just get waxed and ran right off the battlefield, with our tanks having a 1,000-meter advantage, if not more, and basically they're blind and getting knocked off. So there was a certain amount of American invincibility I felt at that point, which is why when 9/11 came along, it was maybe extra shocking to myself and all Americans. We just kind of had this feeling like that couldn't happen here. I guess, even in World War II, the Germans tried to put something together, but it's just, in Hawaii, it doesn't really all that much count. We're just not used to getting hit. So 9/11 goes down, and I was pretty severely disappointed in our defense. The fact that we couldn't scramble fighters to get the second jet, the second aircraft to hit the World Trade Center, I thought that there was a major, there had to be a letdown somewhere. And the NORAD tapes came out later, and we found out the fighter jets were going in the wrong direction, and America is still in 2014 with this Cuban Twitter thing. We're still kind of playing Cold War games. So Cold War games were certainly still a major thing on 9/11/2001. So I'm going to move forward a little bit. On 9/11 in the evening, on the steps of the Capitol, all the Congress people were singing to us, and I felt like that was patronizing, like they must have known their jobs were at stake, and it just didn't feel authentic to me. I was angry. And the 9/11 report that came out years later with Richard Clarke, I mean, our government did fail us in that instance, and it is noteworthy that I think our defense is still not good in any way, shape, or form. But the fact that on 9/12/2001 they told us everything was fine and to just go back to work and they had it all under control, that just didn't sit well with me. You can't have a catastrophic failure on one day and then tell me it's all cool the next. So I started looking around and seeing all our critical infrastructure, which is very quite vulnerable, and is still quite vulnerable. So in early 2002, I was preparing to start a bit of a movement to increase the security at our critical infrastructure points, getting onto bridges, nuclear power plants, tunnels, things of that sort. So I made 30,000 cards, 3x5 cards that I was planning on passing out that were kind of flashy, promoting security at our infrastructure points. Well, twist of events, I was actually speaking to my family quite a bit about national security and things that I was learning, and that, I think, tweaked them out a little bit, and they shut me down. Long story short, 2002, I own an art gallery, and it's becoming the season. Rain Gallery in Newport, Rhode Island. Kind of pulled myself together after being shut down and had a very successful season selling artwork in 2002. Bought myself my dream car, 1974 911 Targa, Aubergine, last year of the chrome, but all the upgrades possible before they blacked it out in 75. Anyway, point being, I took some time to have some fun and not look at world issues for a while. Another season in Newport in 2003. I just worked the gallery, tried to sell paintings, enjoyed it quite a bit. And late 2003, I went to Europe to see Radiohead's Hail to the Thief tour, and Thom Yorke was really speaking about a lot of the same things about the impending doom that we're looking at. So that motivated me to get prepared for a run at making a film in 2004. I didn't know if I was going to make a film or a website, but somewhere in the process of, let me back up a little bit, sorry. I planned to set the gallery up in 2004 so I wouldn't have to work it. So I hired a manager and I moved myself to Montreal, where I would either make a film or a website, I wasn't really sure. But somewhere in that process, in that time period, I learned about Graham Allison's book about nuclear terrorism. And that really changed my focus from being concerned about tunnels and bridges and power infrastructure to things that were more existential for humanity. Chain reactions where there's a nuclear explosion somewhere and there's a retaliation, and before you know it, the skies turn gray where I end and you begin. So 2004, I go to Montreal. I'm looking to make a film about peace because I feel like total peace is the only way humans are going to survive. And I grossly mismanaged the project and mismanaged my people. And my gallery is losing money without me being there. So I come back in late 2004, early 2005, essentially bankrupt. And I kind of sneaked my way out of that one and worked the gallery season again in 2005, and then I went to Paris with a different game plan, and I was hiring a filmmaker to make a film which was to compel females to pay attention to the fact that the males on planet Earth, were well out of control, way in over their heads, and the weapons were completely out of control. That plan didn't quite work out, and I later came to realize, or came to think, that with the alpha male in the Islamic world, he wasn't going to listen. Well, his females weren't going to be able to push him in any certain direction because that's not the way the dynamic of that society worked. So in 2006, I worked the gallery again, sell paintings, deliver paintings to New York and Boston, and have fun. But but I'm figuring I've got to get out of the gallery if I'm going to ever really get anything done on my top priority, which is human survival. So 2006, I'm basically running the gallery, trying to figure out how to get out of it to sell it. I sell it in 2007, and later in 2007, I really get a good look at the world, a more honest look. It's not about peace or convincing people to change their minds, but I realized I had to really imbibe the idea that humans are going to there was going to be fights, and if you have to have fights, is there any way to make them face to face? Take the technology out. I mean, this is still a semi-utopian idea, but in the ensuing 7 years, from late 2007, when I realized I was going to promote face-to-face warfare, and now, late 2014, I could say that I've spent the time researching like crazy, trying to learn as much as I possibly could, taking in as much of the information age as I could. I mean, there are so many geniuses out there who've studied various empires and epochs, have been really well, is it elucidated? I'm sorry about my vocabulary. I didn't really try too hard in school, so my power words are a little thin. Anyway, I have over-researched, overwritten. At periods in time I've been overwhelmed by research. I've been had a lack of confidence about what I've known. I felt a tad demoralized about how rough so many situations look, how deep some of the animosity is between, say, Pakistan and India, or India and China, or, really just on and on. I mean, it's going to take a couple of days out of your sails a little bit of wind out of your sails if you're going to watch Oppenheimer's Art of Killing, or Lucy Walker's Countdown to Zero. Anyway, and I've had a significant amount of fear about coming out, fear about being judged, fear of dying for certain. And I've tried to have some fun in the last 7 years, that's for sure. Tried to keep living, tried to manage relationships and learn and live and love and fail. And in a lot of ways I haven't known how to bring this project to fruition, or I've been just one idea away, or I've been too concerned about how the website would look, all types of things. But yeah, I just wanted to speak a little bit about my process. It's been quite an interesting journey, and thank you for hearing me.